food. Got the Mexican food.
Hey,
Got some
Craig, let me go
tacos
get
over
your
there.
nomad, because you're a real nomad.
Nope. I ain't got no.
Man,
I ain't got no tacos
You're a
over
real
there.
nomad. That's all I'd rather do.
man, it's fucked up.
I have over here too, my friend.
Oh shit. Oh, buddy. Damn, they take each other out. Oh, he came too much. Too much for him. Maybe not. Back to fucking square one. No man on the attack. No man on the attack. Who's gonna be the last one standing? Oh, I got the strafe on him. Oh, clipped him. Oh, no, not quite, not quite. Who's gonna run out of the med kits first?
Yes! Let's go! Tactician boy! Hey, that was a hard ass fight, dog.
That was a
That was
long
straight
ass
land
fight,
shots,
nigga.
dog. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. What is poppin', squad? It is your boy, and today I am so excited to share my first official 1.8.3 build with you guys. I put a lot of time into trying to make this work. It's not fully optimized, but it will be because it's definitely my favorite build apart from Nomad for this patch. For the people who miss their heals, for the people who like that old feeling where you can kind of not have to rely on a box as much, this build is going to be for you. It is a tactician slash sustain heal or self heal in that matter. It could be team heal too if you just change a few mods. But the main way I made it is for self heal, tactician DPS build. So without further ado, let's get it in. So off rip, we have 4,500 firearms, 6,800 stamina, and 4,300 electronics. And that's huge because the biggest difference you're going to see is the fact that skill power is actually a thing with this build, obviously, because it's a tag build. You will be rolling into electronics. I chose to roll one thing, which is my gloves. You want to have some kind of electronics, especially because you want to have the best heal you could possibly have. So the weapon I'm using is the house with vicious and deadly. The reason I always go with vicious and deadly on this is because I like forcing myself to stay as high health as possible. You can roll unforgiving, but I feel if you roll unforgiving, you let yourself go down to lower health to try to get the best out of your weapon. I prefer to stay at the peak of my health, so I'll be able to get that crit chance. And being that I don't always want to run a post with this build, I want to have as much crit chance as possible because DPS is going to matter with this build due to the fact that you don't have any raw damage buffs like the other builds. So vicious and deadly for me. Extended magazine with crit damage and crit chance. Small optics with crit hit damage, headshot damage, and crit chance. Loud vent break with crit damage, accuracy, headshot damage, increased threat, and underbarrel with crit damage, optimal range, and accuracy. My second weapon is a healing M4. It could be whatever you want. I will recommend in this patch you want to run a healing secondary weapon. Obviously the best way to run it would be have a predatory, self-reserve, and sustain. And even with these stats, I'm able to have these unlocked, and they're not really hard to unlock. So all you need is a little bit of firearms, a little bit of health, and you can have all these. I would recommend this. I know a lot of people love running dual weapons, but being that we don't have as much heals as we used to, especially with the box, you want to have this as much as possible. So as you can see, if I kill somebody, I get predatory, I get my little sustain, and obviously if I shoot them with this weapon, I get that little self-reserve, which is just a little bit. But any healing is good healing. So let's get into the actual build. Now, before I start, I want you to know there's two ways to run this, and the other way I might try is a refresh mask instead of a bear's chest. But I feel Bear's Chest is more tailored towards the DPS version, because then if you pop that pulse and you keep your health, I mean, obviously you want to keep your health because you want to pop it when it counts. You'll be able to do as much damage as possible, and it is a lot of damage, especially after a pulse mixed with Barrett's. You do a lot more damage than you expect. So going into the chest piece is a Barrett's bulletproof vest. With skill haste and health, you want to have skill haste on it. If you don't have a Bear's Chest with skill haste, run a refresh, because skill haste is huge. It's way more important than EDR. It's way more important than I forgot what else is the other role on there. I don't even remember, honestly, to be honest with you. Yeah, well, it's just way more important than EDR. So roll skill haste, especially because this build is going to be tailored around having the heal as much as possible, which is a big advantage against other builds. So try to get your Barrett's chest piece with skill haste and health. It's hard if you don't have one, because you're going to have to remember you can't roll two things like classified, but if you have one already, you're set and you're ready to go. So going down to the mask, I have mine roll for stamina and skill power. I might change this to crit chance. I might. The only reason I haven't yet is because my pulse does the job for me when I switch to it. So it's kind of like, which one I want to do. Either I have a little bit more healing, or I have that guaranteed crit chance to when I'm not running my pulse. But I don't know. I haven't decided fully yet. But this is obviously up for roll if you want to. So the mods I have on this, by the way, is the firearms with health and electronics with skill haste. You're gonna need 2 skill haste mods to achieve the maximum skill haste. As you see, these are my 2. I have one right here and one right here, which is at 6%, and you add everything else obviously rolled into the roll for that 50%. Going into my knee pads, the roll for health and roll for firearms. There's nothing better to roll in this. I would not roll crit damage. Do not get too antsy on the idea that you need damage. You will do just enough damage, and especially because you're in it for the long run. The idea of this build is to out-sustain them. It's kind of like Nomad in a way, where the DPS isn't a lot, but the sustainability is what makes it seem like you do so much damage, because you're allowed to. Just keep picking at them until they finally die. So that's my reason that I run it this way. I have stamina with health and first aid self heal. You can easily change this into a harder hitting build just by changing the mods to pulse crit hit damage and put on your pulse. But that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? If you feel you don't hit hard enough, that you can easily switch that, and it will make a huge difference, I promise you. Tactician authority pack with stamina and health, and as well I have firearms with health and 2 first aid self heals. And my glove is crit damage, SMG damage, and I gave up crit chance for skill haste, which is the best roll in my opinion, because if you have a pulse, it's going to be really, really good for you. I don't know if a lot of people have gloves like this. It's going to be kind of tough, because a lot of people, you know, it could be one or the other. You could have crit damage and crit chance, and you might not be able to roll off your SMG for the skill haste. If it's not like this, I would say, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I think the only way to really, really feel how it's supposed to use build is to have it like this, because you need that crit damage. Like, crit damage is way more important than that crit chance on this roll. So try to get crit hit damage, SMG damage, and skill haste, or AR damage if you're running AR. But I do recommend that you use SMG, just for the fact that you're not going to have that crit chance, and the lower the crit chance on AR, the more obsolete they are. So make sure you try to get that skill haste. And on my holster, I have skill haste rolled as well, and as you can see, it's almost mid-max. You know what I'm saying? Almost. But anyways, so that's pretty much the build itself. Let's go into the deep details of it. The important part, 38% crit chance, 115 crit damage, 62 headshot. Going into my skill haste, the super important thing, which is skill haste, is at 50%, which is the cap, and that is a huge difference compared to everybody's heals. You will get 2 of your heals before they get 1. So that's really important, especially if you're running overdose. And the reason I run overdose is because overheal is everything. You can easily, if you feel more comfortable running booster, you can put on booster. You get it back in 21 seconds versus waiting 2 more seconds for that. Or you can actually be a really good healer, put on ally heal and be the defibber, and you'll still be tanky because you have 545 toughness. So you're kind of a healing mini tank that can do DPS. It's kind of jack of all trades. So, and my pulse, you can see it does 22% crit damage and 16% crit chance. Now, if you want to be smarter, I would sacrifice some of the damage and get a little protection with concealed, and it's still good. 16.50% crit chance and 16.50% crit damage. It doesn't change that much from the damage. Yeah, it's like a 5% or so, but it's not that big of a deal. But that's if you want to go the super smart way. A lot of people are running concealed. A lot of people have to run EMP, so it's kind of thrown up in the air which one's going to be better. in this regard. Or you can easily get the super fast recharging one, which is the recon pack, and it's like the best of both worlds. If nobody's running concealed, you get it back in 16 seconds, bro. You're popping that thing. So you can keep your teammates like eyes open all the time. So that's kind of the preference. Or you can be petty and switch to a fire turret and put on flame turret damage. That's the cool thing about this build, is you can kind of, depending on your mods, you can kind of switch it out and change the whole flow of the build. But the whole purpose of the build is the DPS slash self-sustain style, and I think that's what makes this build really good. Now that's pretty much it, you guys. Obviously there's a lot of things you can do with this build. It has a lot of potential, and I've been waiting so long to be able to make a build that actually is going to work. That's Tactician. And yeah, so hopefully you guys try it out. Let me know what you guys think, and send me your versions. If you have a better version and you think it's better than mine, let me know, man. I'm curious. I just want to put the blueprint out there for people who've been wanting to get, you know, how should I run my Tactician. This is a really good way, and it's really fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for stopping by, and stay tuned for a lot more builds. This is part 1 of part 10,000, because I'm gonna make a lot of builds, dog. So this is just my favorite at the current moment. I'm glad I made this one first to kind of set the standard for builds that are not pred and not nomad and not D3. So this is outside of the top 3, which is, those are the new top 3. I'm just putting that out there, and hopefully you guys do amazing with it and get those heals popping, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's been real. Thank y'all so much. Your boy is out.
Had the wrong gun out. Had the wrong.
That fucking straight. Oh fuck. Yeah.
Alright. Finish the job, nigga. Bro, I just missed so many shots just now, bro. Alright, we in.
You coming with me? You coming with me? You coming with me?
I defeated the Predator!
Warning. You've disavowed innovation and unlocked its role.
Can I beat the #1 build?
Alert. Supply drop currently being claimed.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm still here.
Man, I don't know, that shit came out of nowhere. You fucked me up with that shit.